We may be sweating out our regular season best ball teams as the fantasy playoffs is here starting tomorrow, but we got lots of money to be made in the playoff best ball streets. We're going to get into strategy. We're going to get into all sorts of different content here on the channel. But first, we got to kick it off with some drafts. We're going to hop in playoff best ball drafts on Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters today and have a little fun, chop it up. Let's do it. All right, guys, happy week 15. Happy fantasy playoffs. Hopefully you're enjoying looking at all of your advancing teams. I'm excited. It's fun, but I'm particularly excited because playoff best ball is here. Some may call it God's game. While you're on your way in, if you can go ahead and click that little thumbs up, that would be wonderful. You'd appreciate it. We're going to have a casual hangout here today. Speaking of, if you are a member of the Spike Week community, there is a, if you are not, there's a link to the Discord, which is totally free, in the description. Us sickos are hanging out, talking about our advancing teams, talking playoff best ball strategy and everything from within there. But on every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have what we call the lab. So if you want to come hang out, I like to call it like a bunch of best ball sickos going to the bar and talking best ball strategy. We hop on the Zoom, we hang out, we shoot the shit and talk best ball strategy. We'll definitely be talking some playoff best ball. We'll definitely be talking our advance rates. And of course, just hang out in the Discord. A great place, especially this time of year. We're mostly, like I said, we're just going to fire some drafts. We're not going to dive like mega deep into a bunch of galaxy brain takes and roster construction. And, you need to draft this many of this position and this many of that. No, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to just draft a few teams. My goal is to draft an Underdog playoff best ball team, a DraftKings playoff best ball team, and a Drafters, which just launched super quickly. Let me go ahead and share my screen so I can have it on screen for those watching on YouTube. Let's see here. Underdog. If we go here, they got their battle royale stuff mostly up here, but we got, excuse me. Let me scroll on over. We got the little gauntlet still open, $10, 10 entry max, 100K total prize pool, 10K to first. And I believe it is, hold on, let me just look really quickly. You can always see on Underdog the advancement structure and the size of the final here. A nice little feature from our folks, good find folks over at Underdog. A 2 out of 6 get through the opening round, then 1 out of 5, then 1 out of 6, and 124 total teams in the little gauntlet make the final. In the mitten, $5 entry, 150 max, right? So not a 10 entry max, and it goes 2 of 6, 1 of 10, 1 of 10, 375 person final with 50K to first place. And the gauntlet, the kind of higher dollar option that they have, at least as of right now, $25 entry, also 150 max, $2 million in total prizes, goes 2 of 6, 1 of 10, 1 of 10 with 300 people. I think we'll probably do the mitten here today. We'll hop in the mitten on Underdog, but let's quickly look at our other options across the playoff best ball stratosphere. On let me zoom on DraftKings. We have a few different tournaments. They have four. They have I'm sorry, that is the yeah, here we go. So they have 4 different tournaments. They have a $5 5 entry max, pretty fun. So much smaller field, right? Only 4,700 teams with a 20K total prize pool. They have a $52 entry, which is I wanted to say, yeah, okay, there's no like 5 max, but you can play up to 19 times on DraftKings, and it goes 2 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, and then there's only 6 teams that make it to the final in the $52. Now, so smaller, $5,000 to first place, but if you're looking for some smaller field stuff, we got that over here on DraftKings for sure. Their $5 is just 22 teams in the final. Then we have a much higher stakes tournament. 0 people have, that's kind of unsurprising in just here heading into week 15, but 0 people have entered the Wildcat, but a $333 entry, $100,000 to first place, kind of similar. 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 3 with an 11-man final. So that's a fun little high-stakes tournament. And then, holy cow, the absolutely insane tournament that DraftKings just launched, their flagship, is a $2 million prize pool with $500,000 to first place. Now, it's a huge final, right? 544. So over the course of the next few weeks, we'll dive into. I'm going to be diving into a bunch of DraftKings and drafters, which we'll get to in just a second. Going to be a lot of strategy around this with this large of a final, right? Trying to figure out ways to avoid dupes and all that different kind of stuff. But 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6 is not terrible, but then a pretty big final. Although the 1 out of 6 in the first round can be a little bit tricky. Over on drafters, really quickly, just so that we all are on the same page with the contests, we have 2 tournaments out there right now. Their $20 flagship, the NFL Playoff Best Ball Championship, $300,000 in total prizes. And as Black Muddy was asking, is UD the only non-cumulative option? No, DraftKings and Underdog are both the what we call playoff formats, meaning you advance through each group. You get put into in the first round, compete against the players that you drafted against, those total of 6 teams, 5 opponents and yourself. And then you move on in random pods assigned by the site thereafter until you reach the final on both Underdog and on DraftKings. On drafters here, which we're looking at here, is cumulative scoring. So the moment that we draft this team a little bit later, you compete not against, of course, you compete against the teams that you drafted against in your little 6-person draft, but you're mostly competing against all however many thousand teams are in this entire tournament. If it fills, it will be 16,752. We've got 150 in there so far, but it is full PPR scoring on drafters. It is full PPR with bonuses on DraftKings, half PPR on Underdog, and again, drafters is full cumulative. So every game counts. The first game counts as much as the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, you want your team, you want your players to be playing as many games as possible, but it's a total cumulative scoring format. They also have tight ends on drafters and DraftKings, and Underdog lumps the tight ends in with wide receivers. So just a few small little differences that we'll see here when we hop into these drafts, but just wanted to do a quick rundown. They also do have what they're calling the warm-up on drafters. So a $3 tournament, $25,000 in total prizes, exactly same same cumulative setup. Doesn't matter about advancements and final sizes over here, but still nice. For $3 we can get 5,000 to first place. This is aptly named the warm up so that we can get some reps in over on drafters before maybe we pile in to the $20. And of course, we have a lot of uncertainty as to who is going to make the playoffs. Very last thing I'm going to share. I'll put a link to this in the description. We do have our own custom built playoff odds on Spike Week. It is, if you go to the website and you go to the best ball tools, it is under there at the very top of the list. You will see it's no joke that we run in the millions of simulations for the rest of the season to not only just get the odds to make the playoffs, which is of course what you see here on your screen, the odds that all these teams will make the playoffs, but the odds at each seed, right? So right now we have Kansas City at 75% to get the 1 seed, Detroit at 73% to get the 1 seed. So 2 pretty heavy favorites after the Buffalo Bills loss to the Rams this week. It does update every night after the games are over, but you can see it by seed. And then you can also see each round, as you see on your screen here, so we can see the first round, divisional round, conference round, and Super Bowl matchup odds. Obviously, it has the matchup odds, but you can see our odds to make the Super Bowl. A lot of the odds that are out there in the world, any of the sites out there, you Google, right, NFL playoff odds or whatever, they're all really pretty similar, but some little slight differences around the edges. We do very much so look at the upcoming schedule for all of these teams to, again, simulate out how those schedules are going to go, and then ultimately assign a lot of these odds. And then, looking at how the playoff matchups would shake out and kind of simulate how that will navigate its way through. We try to make sure and focus it as much as we can on anything that could possibly do with best ball as opposed to real life football. But generally speaking, it's really just about the real life football odds. But again, you see here, Detroit is our current favorite to make the Super Bowl at 36% and Kansas City at 35%, followed up by Philly at 23%, Buffalo at 22%, and Pittsburgh at 17%, which is an interesting one that may come up here during these drafts, where Pittsburgh is actually the third favorite in the AFC to make the Super Bowl, but Baltimore is still holding on as a team that everybody seems to like. Maybe Houston, people like some of those teams, but Pittsburgh, as it stands right now, with some of the losses that Baltimore has taken, has a little bit of a step up on them. It's going to be tricky for Baltimore to get there. But there's a quick recap of where the tournaments stand, where the odds stand, and let's go ahead and let's pop into an underdog draft first. We'll hop into the mitten, kind of the most straightforward underdog with no tight ends and all of that stuff. Looks like we need three people to join the mitten on underdog, and then we'll rip a few drafts and we'll see if we can't put together some winners. One of my current takes, I guess I would say, is that and we're full. One of my current takes is that of course we got Bernie in here, we got Go AZ cards, we got a lot of badges, all badges. What is that username? Patrick Barnes YouTube. That's I like that. Patrick Barnes YouTube. That's kind of, I need to petition to change my name to Spike Week YouTube or spikeweek.com or something like that to use it as advertising for my YouTube channel. Patrick Barnes, shout out to you. Genius level marketing there. Also, he gets the 101, which clearly shows that Underdog caters to the influencers. If the guy who is promoting his YouTube channel gets the 101. As you can see here, have not been. I guess I should switch this. I think I did the little mitten. I've only done two. I've only done two underdog drafts. I've done two DraftKings drafts and 0 drafters drafts. So you're getting to see. You're getting to see me live and in person figure out some of these takes while on the clock. Yeah, I know. I'm being silly. I know you can't change your name. Jahmyr Gibbs, 101 for Patrick Barnes. I like it. I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it simple with old Josh Allen. I do think we're gonna put out some rankings. I do think I'm gonna have Josh Allen 1. But the Josh Allen versus Saquon thing is pretty interesting, because I don't really necessarily think I want to have 0 of either of them. So if we take a hard stand on those guys, I want to just try to get some reps in and see kind of how often each guy goes 1, each guy goes 2. Do they ever fall? Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs went 1 here. So even if I have Josh Allen 1 and I take him at 1, I just want to see how that shakes out. I do still think, despite what our odds say, I guess I would say the Chiefs are the Super Bowl favorite, but that's strictly because they have the bye, as opposed to my, hand in dirt take about them versus the Bills. I think the Bills are just slightly better from a playoff context. I think they've shown a little bit more, even with that terrible defensive performance against the Rams this week. So Josh Allen's probably going to be my 101. Now I just have to decide if I'm going to let Patrick get JMO here. I'm gonna take JMO to set up, give myself the outs to the Lions and the Bills, and see if he does the James Cook thing. It's crazy how many pro athletes we get popping in here. Gabe Davis was here all summer, watching us draft best ball teams, and RIP Gabe. Derrick Henry in here saying not to fade. Yeah, wow, shout! I didn't know that Patrick Barnes YouTube. So mouthful. Got second place in the Big Dog. Awesome. Shouts to him. He takes AJ Brown. So starts Gibbs, AJ Brown. Okay. I want James Cook here, but I would be okay moving on over to either Devonta Smith or Justin Jefferson if this didn't go according to plan. There's a lot of cheap Bills, and then give myself the give me both Lions and Eagles. That's also, I think that's still even reasonable for me to do here if he passes on James Cook. Okay. I do really, really like the Vikings in this, but I'm just going to go ahead and scoop James Cook. Give me my Bills. Pi says Barnes is auto drafting these according to custom rankings, according to the guys on the Swolecast. Nice. I'll be interested to see how it goes for him. I don't personally think playoff best ball is. I think you could, and I did auto about 100. I maxed the puppy 3, and I autoed the final 100, give or take the final 100. It didn't go awesome, but it was fine. It was going really well when Jordan Mason was a thing. But I think you could auto regular best ball. I think that would be okay. I don't think it's ideal because I think there's so many things that you're missing out on in terms of your player combinations, correlations, just a lot of stuff you're missing out on. But I don't think it's like the absolute stone cold worst thing. I don't think you can feasibly auto playoff best ball. Like you'll try to set your ranks up right to get more of certain teams and certain stacks, but these drafts are really highly variant. And I don't think I would want to do that for me personally. But I'm going to call myself an average playoff best ball player. Back to me here. Gets me Amari. Amari comes back. Now we're sitting pretty on the Bills side of things with James Cook, Josh Allen, and Amari Cooper. Got one Lion with JMO. Let's see what the Lions are looking like. Laporta's gone. Okay. Well, you guys are watching, so I know that you're going to... I'll either be taking Tim Patrick later, or we're going to ride or die with 4 Bills with just the JMO bring back for the final, I guess. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Goddard is out. Aaron Jones. Let's get some Q rolling. Aaron Jones, Jaden Reed. I could do Jones and hope for Addison, but I would be shocked. I could go ahead and take Kincaid, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit on. I'm also possibly a bit tight. I like a lot of the. If I'm going to add some more Bills later, be wide receiver. If I'm going to add Patrick later, it's going to be wide receiver. So let's do Aaron Jones. Make sure I get Tim Patrick at the bottom here. Let's do Aaron Jones. I got Hawk down the board. This is the tricky part of the Bills. If I'm not able to get Laporta to come back to me to go with JMO, which is maybe an argument to fade James Cook and go cheap Bills, right? As I experience it here and think through it. Khalif Raymond does have a great open score. He's also on IR. I mean, he's going to be back, but he's in. I mean, I'm going to have Khalif Raymond, to be clear, in the rankings. I don't think he's like a bad pick. He's a late round, differentiator type guy. I think you can do that with a bunch of different lines. But if I really want to, win this, tournament, I would love to have more of the premier Lions. And I think the Bills have no standouts, right? So now I'm already regretting. I'm talking through how I'm regretting James Cook getting either a premium of another player or another team like Jefferson, or just going ahead and scooping Laporta. Good Lord, everybody goes here. Okay. I don't imagine that Patrick has. Maybe he does. I really don't like Keon, but I need to have another Bill. I could wait for Curtis Samuel, but I think it's got to be Keon. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what his average separation score is. Russ and Jalen Warren. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and take Mr. Tim Patrick. and round out just a mega 6 players in that Super Bowl. Gives me a little bit of outs, whether it's any of these guys here at wide receiver. I'm still alive. Obviously, it needs to be James Cook at running back. And now I would love, I can technically one off multiple NFC teams if I really want to. I don't think that that's exactly how I would want to go about building this, but when you've kind of overstacked the Bills, it does give you some more outs to do some different things than maybe you would normally do. Versaire asks, how do you feel about the Bucks versus their prices? Do you think they can make a run to the conference championship? I think the Bucks are pretty awesome picks at their prices. Let me just Evans is the very first Tampa Bay Buccaneer going off the board at pick 50, Bucky at 55, and then, just about undrafted everybody else. Baker sometimes drafted. We have to make the playoffs, we have Tampa Bay at 65%. Got it. Dog bowl, not the big dog. Same idea. It's got dog in it. We have Tampa Bay at 65% to make the playoffs. Like, for instance, the Rams are at 30%. Atlanta's at 53%. San Fran is 8. Arizona's 7. So they're a pretty big favorite. Now, they do get the Chargers this week. A loss will even things out a little bit, but part of that 65% is they play after this Chargers game. They basically have the easiest schedule in the NFL. The Panthers are playing a little bit better, so maybe that's a little bit spooky for week 17 in terms of those odds. But I still think you would take a Panthers matchup over most other matchups. All right, now let me think about this. Washington is in play. I can do we're going to do Hawkinson, and then see if we want to double back for. So we got 2 Lions, we got 2 Vikings. We'll see if we want to pile on to anything here or give ourselves another NFC squad. But I like the Bucks. I'm very much in on the Bucks. Let's see here. Do I go over to the Bucks? Do I go to some crappy Chiefs? I don't mind that. And just try to set up that. It would be in it. No, we got to do Washington, I think. Washington. Non-Jaden. Oh, God. So Noah Brown is going to be out for a while, FYI. So get ready to learn De'Ami Brown. I can't wait to draft either Zach Ertz or De'Ami Brown on a playoff basketball team, and they lose in round 1 and score 0 points. Big Daddy from Cincinnati. What a phenomenal, absolutely elite username. But yes, these drafts are a ton of fun. It's also great to have drafts that go really quickly. Both, not just for live streaming, but for like real life. You're like, when you want to do a BBM draft or whatever over the summer, it's like, oh man, I want to, but I got to dedicate 45 minutes to paying attention to this. The playoff best balls one, can you dedicate 10 or 15? Can you dedicate 10 to 15 minutes? God, I hope I'm not shoving chips in on Washington here. We do have Washington at 73% to make the playoffs. I like it. I would expect that. Yeah, this is true. They go quickly until you rip 10 in a row. That is definitely true. You know what? As phenomenal as Zach Ertz is, if we're going to take this kind of crazy, with Noah Brown out, as you see here, De'Ami replaced Noah Brown in this past game. Let's get off the board, right? If I'm going to take this kind of team that I'm not all that excited about as a tack on, whatever, I'm also going to get down off the board. I don't really think that Ertz is like a big deal. And so if there's no Noah Brown, did they sign KJ Osborne? For anybody listen, KJ Osborne's not. Yeah, I mean, if KJ Osborne is the one that ruins De'Ami Brown, that's fine. It is what it is. KJ Osborne has historically been a slot receiver, so too pious is Luke McCaffrey going to make me rich? I'm a little more concerned about Luke for that. Osborne played in the slot in Minnesota and then has been over. And one thing about him, I'm not sweating it right now. Noah Brown can play. KJ Osborne can't really play. He couldn't get on the field. Think about this. KJ Osborne could not get on the football field for a team playing Jalen Polk, Keyshawn Boutte, Tyquan Thornton, who also got cut. Javon Baker can't get on that. Maybe KJ Osborne was just being misused by the New England Patriots. I highly doubt it. I also think if he comes over, he's probably going to play in the slot, which is not where De'Ami plays. Terry and De'Ami and Noah Brown play on the outside. Luke McCaffrey and Zach Ertz and the tight ends and Zacchaeus. I haven't checked lately. At the beginning of the season, he was actually playing on the outside, but yeah. Anyway, way too much time on KJ Osborne and frankly De'Ami Brown. But the whole premise, I think, was if I'm gonna take this like one off on one of these teams that don't take the guy that's always drafted on every single one of these. Like I'm actually kind of down to take a couple shots on De'Ami Brown when I get backed into Washington like that. Like he could be that guy that catches a long touchdown in the wild card round and advances your Lions teams, right? Or your Chiefs teams or whatever. Take that guy, then he's still going to be 0% owned in the second round. Nobody's drafting De'Ami Brown, right? So now they happen to win. Let's just use they happen to win. You got that guy into the second round. It doesn't have to be De'Ami Brown. It could be insert your favorite random player down there. But if they're playing and they're running routes and they actually, like I said, De'Ami just had 5 targets this past week in a game that they didn't throw that much. He can hit a home run. I like some of those guys, right? Calvin Austin or whatever. Take that guy on these kind of teams. They could bail you out, and that could be the difference between not just advancing and not advancing, but winning it all, right? They could be the difference, even though they don't make the Super Bowl. They could end up being the difference because we've already decided this is a Bills Super Bowl, and it's probably Bills Lions is what this bet is. It could be Vikings, but it's probably Bills Lions, maybe Vikings Washington's there to maybe give us a little juice for a round or two. A good question before we'll do DraftKings and then we'll close it out with Drafters, since Drafters is a little different, right? With the cumulative format, we'll transition to we'll start with a site that also uses tight end and PPR, and then we'll transition out of the playoff format into cumulative with Drafters. Clipper Nation says, I know a lot of people tend to favor the 4-3-3 type builds. Yeah. How do you feel about 4 to 5 for your core team and then spraying the opposite conference with 1 or 2 from a lot of teams? I think my favorite part about all of playoff best ball is that there is I think I would agree. I prefer 4-3-3, 4-2-2-2, 4 whatever, 4-4-2, whatever, right? I prefer, all right, give me, 4 from this side and then consolidate on the other side, because theoretically, right, if you just think about how the playoffs work, if you hit on 3 teams, if you hit on we know we have to hit on Super Bowl from one side. The dream scenario in a playoff best ball build is I hit on the Super Bowl team from one conference. And then on the other side, I hit on the conference championship matchup. So I've guaranteed myself a live team making the final, assuming I hit on the Super Bowl over here. So I have to hit on the Super Bowl, but then I don't have to hit on the Super Bowl plus Super Bowl. I have to hit on Super Bowl plus conference championship, which is undoubtedly very, very difficult, but it's just a little bit easier. And then specifically, not only is that easier to nail, it's easier to, right. I've created a great it doesn't matter. I got 2 paths to an awesome team in the finals, hopefully a live team in the finals. So that's why we all like that better. But the beauty of playoff best ball for me is that there is no one recipe. There is no one path that wins it all. I was talking to, of course, good friend Pat Crane from Legendary Upside at the end of another typical marathon podcast that we did on Monday. For the last hour or so, we talked playoff best ball. And I believe he described how I'm going to screw up, right? Who the exact player is. But needed, he had Chiefs and 49ers Super Bowl matchup, right? So there's one bye. One of those teams had a bye. The 49ers had a bye. Yeah. Anyway, one of his teams had a bye and needed something from one of those late picks at the very end. Now, you still want to be smart about, you don't want to just, if you bet on the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl, it's your only AFC team heading into round 9 or 10. You don't want to necessarily, I'm also not saying you can't do this, but ideally you would take someone from the NFC side because it would still give you outs to a Super Bowl matchup, right? You got 4 Chiefs and DK Metcalf. And that's what, shout out Silas Jackson, who used to do stuff for us here at Spike Week. He won a playoff best ball tournament with exactly DK Metcalf, and he was a one-off. And it was double buys a couple years ago. Both the bye week, the 1 seeds made the Super Bowl, and so you need just to kind of spray and pray, as you mentioned. Now we want to spray and pray like in a slightly intelligent way, at least. But there's so many different. It's a scenario based game, not a projection. We can't plug shit into a spreadsheet because it's all scenario based. Who wins, and then who has big games in said wins, and who has big games in said losses, and how did you put them together, right? If both 1 seeds make the Super Bowl, the teams that you need to draft to win in that scenario are wildly different. That 4-3-3, good luck, dead, right? The 4-3-3 structure doesn't make any sense for a double bye. Now, do you want to build for a double bye? That's all up to all of us. We have to figure how many Chiefs Lions teams do we want to build, because we know we're only going to have 5 players in round 1 to sneak us through. That's tough. But a lot of people don't build that way either. So long story short, it's so scenario based that I don't think we should have hard and fast rules about any of this stuff. I think the total dream scenario, like I said, is 4 from one side, nail the conference championship on the other. That's the easiest, the cleanest path. But that doesn't mean, just because it's the easiest or the cleanest, that doesn't mean it's what's going to win. There's a lot of stuff that can win. Last thing, and we'll hop in on DraftKings. Had some pretty good success I'm better at NBA playoff best ball than I am at NFL playoff best ball, so take that for whatever it's worth. But this past season, the Boston Celtics were a little bit like the Detroit Lions in this. Everybody loves them. They're the favorite to make it. They're the favorite to win it all, but they're the favorite for all we care about is getting to the finals. They're the favorite to make the finals, but they have such a cushy path along the way that there's no buys in the NBA, but they're almost assuredly going to sweep in the first round. Now, they didn't. They played 5 games, but they're almost assuredly going to sweep in the first round. And they might sweep the whole way, right? And so you're only getting 4 games out of them. The Luka Doncic's, the Nikola Jokic's, the Anthony Davis's, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's are playing 5, 6, 7 games. So they're going to outscore the Celtics, but they're really expensive, and we need them to win. And that's what happened. You had to find a way to sneak enough Celtics into the finals in order to win. So you kind of throw shit out the window that is like, well, what I would really like to do is get my finals matchup and build 4-3. That's great until a scenario plays out in which you don't really care about that structure. You care about how the heck could I get a live team to the final, because that's the only possible way to win this thing. And it was borderline impossible. So like I said, a lot of ways to skin a cat, or I guess skin a dog in this example of Underdog. But it's a fun game, and I don't think there's wrong answers probably throughout your structures, but there's not that many like things that can't be right answers, if that makes sense. Let's get in on DraftKings. I would like to do the $20. I don't know if anybody here is down for that one, but I'm going to try to get it. Oh, perfect. We only need one for the $20 on DraftKings. I'm going to try to get a handful of these in every single week so that I can, have the ADPs are going to change, right? That's one beauty of playoff best ball and drafting it all through. A lot of people like to wait, and I get that totally. Like, if you don't want to draft before we have any idea of who's playing who and who's even making the playoffs, no problem for me. But if you kind of draft a handful of teams this week and a handful of teams next week. And you don't have to go crazy, but just drafting a little bit each week, or you could even draft after tomorrow's game. We'll see what happens with the Rams. They win or whatever, they lose, and maybe people will still draft them and they're dead in the water. You can get different flavors, different combinations of teams that are not going to be available all the time in this tournament. And if you wait till the very end, ADP is never going to move again, right? It's all going to stay static. Let's see. Charles says, ooh, I like it. See, I'm so torn on this. Early, I like taking value, he says, that might steam up. Example, I'm betting on the Rams. Let's take the NFC West. We have the Rams at 30%, Seattle at a very nice 69%. So, basic math right now says that Seattle is a much stronger bet. The Rams have a tough path here to get. But if you believe, or you're willing to burn those, like, let's just say you're willing to burn those entries. Not even so much that you believe, but you think the potential edge to be gained is so big. I think the Rams are an interesting one. Nolan says even if the Rams make it, they'll still be cheap. I do think they'll move up quite a bit. And Versaire says that the Rams looked pretty damn good. The Rams are an interesting one because I think they're maybe the best option for this, because I think they can beat just about anybody. Now, they can lose some games that leave you scratching your head, but they can beat really anybody. And so if I'm going to swing for a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs, I would like it to be that kind of a team. So I think the Rams might be like, the one exception to kind of how I like to think about drafting teams. All right. We are on the clock. The Ravens, I'm not going to lie to you. The Ravens ADP is absolutely bananas here. I'm gonna try to build out a Lions thing here with Demont, Goff, and Demont. I have 100% David Montgomery thus far on. I'm trying to rectify my stupid regular season David Montgomery exposure with a playoff best ball exposure. Jason asks, how does your HUD work? Yeah, it's a browser extension. You sign up, you download the browser extension, you send your teams over to Spike Week, to the Spike Week database, so that you can then use that information to display on desktop only, of course, to display while you're drafting teams, and you can customize what you see. We have like a million different settings. So I mostly have this is of course showing the regular playoff schedule that is useless for us in playoff best ball. It's showing weeks 15, 16, and 17 matchups. But I am showing, like you see, so this is, you can't see, if you hover over it, it will show what that percentage means. But I have like basically my individual exposure to those players, and then like how many times did I draft that guy with my quarterback? How many times did I draft that guy with my running back 2, right? Wide receiver 1, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm constantly trying to see how often I'm drafting certain players with other certain players. And then there's a bunch of other different options you see over here on the, like, it's going to show you your team stacks. See, there's teams there. We do have playoff odds. So you can flip over to playoff odds, right? And live on the spot while you're drafting playoff teams, you can see the playoff odds. So, right, that's Atlanta, right? So Atlanta pulls up, they're 53% to make the playoffs, 4% to make, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a bunch of different features here. Ooh, Laporta, nice. I definitely want to do Laporta, but now it's time to start thinking about the AFC. Shakir, okay. Hey. I'm definitely going to do Laporta. I think Shakir is my favorite, although I need to start thinking about getting the hell out of round 1 with maybe some, or Amari. Shakir or Amari. Amari had 14 targets this week, right? Yeah. We're gonna do Amari. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, there's a bunch of different options. I can maybe even, I'll pull up the settings when we get done with this draft. You can see. Absolutely. We'll definitely explain as we go. Yeah, check it out. Hop in the Discord, and if there's support channels in there, right? So if you ever have questions about the tools, you ever run into issues, we'll help you out on the spot, get you all fixed, get you all set up. I know, a browser extension and then setting up your settings and doing that stuff is it's new to most people. It was new to me. We built it, and it was new to me when I first started it. So, once you start using it, it's super duper easy. And everybody, the thing that I mostly love about the tools is that we don't tell you like who to pick. We don't tell you like what's the optimal way to draft. We're just allowing you to take the information that is most important to you and act on it during your draft. So you like X team, you want to do XYZ structures, whatever. We're going to help you do it in an easier way because we're going to put the information that you've requested onto the screen in front of you at that time and help you, like I said, help you make decisions that you think are best. I don't have all the answers. You don't need to pay for software tools that are going to tell you who the optimal pick is, because guess what? Nobody knows. None of us know. We talk all summer and all for the next month about all of our takes, and they're wrong constantly. So we want to build the things that empower you to do the best. And of course, I'm going to give my takes along the way. It's fun. We like to draft. We like to share all our takes, but I'm not the expert. Nobody has this game solved. So I'm just here to kind of share my journey and my takes along the way, and wave the white flag when they inevitably fail later on. About to come back on the clock. Let's look at get the quarterbacks out of here. I do need to zoom out just a tiny tick for me. See, this is when things get annoying. So I'm sitting on 3 Lions, right? Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta. So I need another quarterback. I'm drafting for the Lions are getting the bye, to be clear. I probably should have said that from the jump. If someone wanted to say, sure, they're 75% to get the bye, but I'm willing to burn that team, hoping that they don't, I get it. It's not for me, but I get it. I might come on over to the old Steelers side. My only real concern with the Steelers is the Pickens injury. But I like going to them as a air quotes cheaper stack. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Pickens and Najee, and hopefully, get me some early production, but also hopefully get me a win or two out of the Steelers and carry on into the second and third round of the playoffs. So, Amari, Najee, and Pickens thus far. Like I said, still going to need another tight end and going to need at least a quarterback for the first round. This is going to be one where the quarterback thing is pretty interesting. I'm a little more open to just drafting a quarterback that is essentially getting me through round 1. So, for instance, like I would be open to drafting Jaden Daniels over Russell Wilson. Even though I took the Steelers, I'm taking those Steelers because they give me outs to pair with my Lions for the Super Bowl and they play in round 1. I'm not taking them necessarily. It's helpful to get me through round 1. I'm not going to avoid Russ. Russ is definitely very much like in play for me, but you got to get first out of 6 teams in this. And the moment I took 3 Lions to start, I'm so far behind, like in round 1, that I know we need to play for first, right? I know all of that, but I already am with Bills and Lions. Like I'm again building like a Bills Lions deal here. So I also have outs to Steelers Lions, but I really need the juice to get out because I'm a huge dog. Like, no offense to Amari, George Pickens, and Najee. I am a huge dog in the first round to the Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mixon, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, right? Like Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. Like I have to beat those teams. So I know that, some people would probably disagree with that, but that's okay. I am going to put Terry in here. Let's look. I really should have done a better job. I do got to do Freiermuth. I think I have to do Freiermuth. Unless I do Ertz and the Washington thing. Let's do that, actually. That's going to be my get out of round one stack. Daniels, Terry, right? So Jaden Daniels to Terry McLaurin. Najee's going to have a big game on this team, okay? That's what's going to happen. So my running back is cool, Najee. I'm going to need a tight end, which might end up being Zach Ertz, but we're going to need a Jaden Daniels explosion game to Terry McLaurin in round one with a Najee game. But, Amari can be fine. Still need a little round one juice, but now we can build some of that AFC. I need a little more Buffalo, right? I got Pittsburgh. Cool. Pittsburgh and Detroit is set up on one side. Well, I guess no, I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. I need another wide receiver. Oh, no. Tim Patrick's gone? Well, I fucked this one up. Calvin Austin, come on down. Or we are going to do Khalif Raymond. God damn it. Double check. Tim. Yep, he's gone. Okay, Raymond. Yep. Motherfucker. Okay. Buffalo. Mac Hollins. Where's Keon? Curtis Samuel. Oh boy. We backed ourselves into a corner. JSN could make sense, but I really didn't want to do. I gotta do Freiermuth. Okay. So now I'm still a wide receiver short on Pittsburgh and Detroit. So I got to keep that in mind for round 12. But I have 2 picks here, and I need a Buffalo wide receiver and probably Calvin Austin. And then I need like a round 1 juice play. Is Keon gone? Shoot. Yes, he is. I'm going to do Mac Hollins. Okay. Let's remove Curtis Samuel. Gives me, though, I need one of these 2 and then a juice play. Straight juice. The 1 out of 6 here versus 2 out of 6 on YouTube it's huge, man. And that's why I'm probably overdoing it. Certainly possible that I am, but like I really want to bet the on the Lions in this. And like the Lions are my favorite team to draft and all this kind of stuff. I'm definitely going to draft some Vikings and Packers and Bucks and Washington and everything like that. But if I'm going to plant my flag on a team to make the Super Bowl, I would like to plant it on everybody's take. But so how do I then navigate my way through with Lions when everybody else is doing some of the same stuff? It's going to be really hard to get out of round 1 with 4 Lions out of 12 on all of your teams. And then you're like, so you got 4 Lions and another 2 guys who are, Mac Hollins is on this team. Like I'm not using Mac Hollins scoring round 1 most likely. So I need that juice. I agree with Andrew. The NFC West is probably the juice play. JSN or the Rams side, right? Puka. I mean, if the Rams get in, Puka and Kupp specifically, Puka is the juice play. Puka and Kyron. I like this. We're gonna run with this juice. That's the advance. That's the advance rate play, but we're gonna name it something cooler that sounds way more fun. That's the juice play. Andrew also says thoughts on Najee and Warren on the same team. If you can get Warren in the last round, I'm in. Yeah, totally. They can both have. I don't think they can both have like huge games at the same time, but they can both have useful. Like Najee can be your running back and Warren can be your flex on a week, and it's fine. Definitely. Certainly, if they win, in the conference championships, cool. Awesome. In the Super Bowl, awesome. Round 1, maybe. Okay, I need one of these guys, and what do we... All right, who's the juice play? I would prefer the juice play from the AFC, but I don't think I got any of those options. I am going to do Calvin Austin over Khalif Raymond. So I need a juice wide receiver. Woof. They don't exist. Okay, oh shoot, I almost just clicked Khalif Raymond there. Okay, juice wide receiver. Oh God. Right now it's QJ. That's freaking disgusting. QJ. Yeah, QJ is juice that you accidentally left out overnight. So this is really not the juice play, but it's all I got. Yeah, Jason says London or Mooney. My problem is I don't really want to bet on Atlanta. I don't know if you were here. Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. They could sneak in over Tampa Bay. Call me recency bias. Call me novice eye tester. I don't want to bet on Atlanta right now. That could feel foolish. They come out and win this week, and Tampa Bay comes out and loses to the Chargers. Those odds are going to shift a little bit. But like I said, the odds are the way that they are, not just because of this week, right? The odds are accounting for who they play down the stretch. And Tampa Bay plays the softest schedule essentially in the league. Atlantis is very soft also, by the way. Atlanta, it's no, this is Atlanta, but Atlanta, like if anybody could go out this week and lose to the Las Vegas Raiders, it feels like this Atlanta Falcons team. Like I don't know. I'm being very, like I said, recency biased with Atlanta, but I really just prefer the Bucks. And so I know the Chargers are in. I don't like Quentin Johnston, but look, come on. Like if QJ catches a long touchdown, he's done it this year. You know, I don't have to be excited about it, but like let's just look super quickly. I mean, he just had 15.8, which is not awesome, but it's not nothing. And there's a 20, right? There's a 25 in there. There's a 22 in there. Like, give me one of those, man. Just give me one of those in round one for the juice. We need the juice. But yes, I agree that it's a woof, not great juice for old QJ. All right, one more. This time on Drafters. If you have not played on Drafters yet, if you use promo code SPIKE when you sign up, so if you want to check out, got to refresh. I deposited before this. If you want to check out the cumulative format, right? You watch this, you're like, this sounds fun. I would love if let's see how full this is. 1 out of 6. I would love to fill the $20, but if you guys would prefer to do the $3, punch it in the chat which one you'd prefer to do, the 3 or the 20. I don't really care. Like I said, I think I would rather do the 20, but I'm down for either. If you've not played on Drafters and you want to try out the cumulative format, you can get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. So you go right, you sign up. When you go to deposit, you deposit $100. You put promo code SPIKE into the little deposit code promo code box. They'll give you a free 100. So you can get 5 free teams here or a whole ton of free teams into the $3 if you use promo code SPIKE for first time. For if you've already used it before, sorry, you don't get to use it again. Yeah, this is totally fair. I don't think it's a lock that they win the division, right? I think what is going on here? Let's see if anybody hopped into either of these. Still 1 out of 6 in the 20. 1 out of 6. Let's just do the 3. See, probably a little easier to fill. 4 more in the $3. Let's go to the standings, because the Rams are 1 game back, and the Seahawks play Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, and then LA. So, this could come down to week 18 because they play each other. To your point, the Rams could definitely get there. Tomorrow is pretty big. Tomorrow is a pretty big game for the Rams. It's not over if they lose because the schedule is not awesome for Seattle here down the stretch, but it's not like it's okay for the Rams. The Niners tomorrow is fine. The Jets is a fine matchup. Arizona in week 17 and then Seattle in week 18. So it might just all come down to the week 18 game, and all this stuff we're talking about is useless. And that's probably what's going to happen. They both might slip up somewhere, and then it comes down to the winner of that game gets in. Let me see if we can fill this sucker. Where is 2 more for a $3 drafters playoff draft. So yeah, like I said, I agree. Best ball on call says the Rams might be the best NFC team to test the Lions in a shootout. Yeah, as much as I love the Lions, I love them. As much as I love the Lions, the NFC is like a little bit scary. Like when the Rams are clicking, they can beat the Lions. I'm not betting that. And the Rams' problem is they just can't stop the run, and you know what the Lions are going to do. And that's what they did when they played. But when you have Stafford, Puka, Kupp, Sean McVay, right? When you have these guys and they're playing at their best, they can beat anybody. I think Green Bay can definitely beat. I would never pick any of these teams in one game to beat the Lions, but can Green Bay show up and beat them? Yeah. You bet your ass Green Bay can beat them. Can Minnesota show up and beat them? I understand Sam Darnold's their quarterback. I understand people dislike them. Can any of those teams beat Detroit in a one game, or Philly? Can any of them beat Detroit or Philly in one game? Yeah. Can Philly beat Detroit in one game? Yes. So the NFC is one where I like Tampa and Washington to like get in and maybe be frisky for a game. I like those other teams as potential like Super Bowl candidates. The problem is, of course, the Rams got to get in. Justin Jefferson is the best like fantasy. Justin Jefferson and I guess Josh Jacobs are the best fantasy assets on those other teams, and they're not like super cheap. So if we're gonna like backdoor a team, it does that probably have to be the Rams or the Bucks or Washington. All right, we're filled up. Yeah, right. Can the Giants can Eli Manning and David Tyree beat the best team of all time? Yep. Happened. Oh, look at this. We got B. Kurt. We got Eagles and Kevin Turcotte in here. Awesome. And naturally, we got the Influencer 101, and I'm definitely taking Josh Allen again. It's a good day. I've jinxed the Bills for sure, though, today. For sure, jinx the Bills. Yeah, Nolan says Allen is so nutted in this, which is a hilarious word, but cumulative scoring, Saquon's great. Saquon's definitely great. Saquon's good for cumulative too, but Allen is just, I think on drafters, Allen is the clear 101. I think you could make a case for Saquon on the other sides. I think you could make what's his name? The YouTuber who crushed the dog bowl took Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I think you could make a case for one of these Lions, probably Amon-Ra or Gibbs, but I think you could make a case for multiple guys at 101, on Underdog or on DraftKings. I think on drafters, I'm pretty adamant that Allen is the 101, but I could be tough. If somebody really believes in the Eagles more than I do, sure. I get it. Big Daddy from Cincinnati. My drafters teams are not doing well. Join the club, brother. Right there with you. I'm going to lose a little money on drafters. I think I'm bringing back about 1,900 right now, so it's not great. Not great. All right, I'm going to avoid James Cook, I think. Mahomes goes. Everybody, I think, takes James Cook here. I don't have JJ yet, so let's do something with JJ. Let's pull Amari. What if we pull Amari up instead of taking James Cook? Kelsey, Josh Jacobs. Okay, I'm for sure gonna take JJ. I gotta think about this. I don't hate Devonta Smith. I don't hate that idea. Devonta Smith or pull Amari up because I don't know if Amari is gonna come back. He's right there. His ADP is 23. Let's just Exactly. We'll make up for it. Yeah, you get Ray later. I do think that James Cook is a totally fine, reasonable play. I understand why he goes where he goes, but I think a lot of people just do, right? We go down the ADP list and we just take, okay, who's the next bill? Okay, take the next bill. Okay, take the next bill. As opposed to, especially on drafters, where I have to beat all the other teams, not like some of the other teams who have the same starting combo on Underdog are going to get knocked off along the way. On drafters, I got to beat all of them. So I want to build slightly different Josh Allen teams because they're all going to start from here, right? They're all going to, okay, let's take the next bill and let's move on down the list. I would like to do something a little different there. See, Jason says, new to playoff best ball and haven't played on any other sites except for DraftKings. Do they account for cheating? Yes. Yep. So they all have Underdog and Drafters both have like collusion. You know, they have security protocols and collusion, you know, trackers and all that kind of stuff in place. Drafts get thrown out. You'll see it. You'll get an email actually from them that says, we threw out this draft. Here's the team that you took, you know, because something didn't pass our safety protocols or whatever. Dang, Shakir went. Okay, I really don't love Josh Jacobs. What's the? I should know this. What's the? What are the odds of the Vikings and Green Bay playing each other? Not high. Okay, that would make some sense then. If I can get them to play, Jacobs or let's do Jacobs. And now I gotta. Am I gonna attach Aaron Jones? Do I go over to Hopkins? Do I go to Najee? Do I go to Jaden Reed? Let's build out the Green Bay, Minnesota thing. I don't have any Lions. So let's build some of these non-Lions little Bills, Vikings, Packers type stuff going on here. Oh no. Well, I took them both. I took them both. I was deciding whether to take Jacobs at all. But I had both. I had both of those picks. I was going to take Aaron Jones. I was just kind of thinking it through because the other alternative is to like take Najee or a tight end. Andrews or Kincaid made a lot of sense on this team. I'm a little bit hurt at tight end now, but I'll have to build some tight end on the NFC side of how I'm thinking about it. But I also don't hate the idea of building through the Minnesota pass game, which technically Aaron Jones is a part of the pass game. What the hell, man? Hopefully they get knocked out in round one. Steal all the juice plays, Charles. Please steal all the juice plays. You just gave that person the stone cold nuts. All right, Stroud loved it. Okay. Ooh, Jaden Reed. Hello. Wow. Okay. I don't have a tight end, so I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. What are their ADPs? Okay. We're good. Yeah. Jaden Reed, Addison. All right. Yeah. Shh. First air. Zip it. That's what we're looking for. That is what we're looking for. This is kind of a fun team. This is kind of a fun team. Let's see. Freiermuth and Goddard go. Okay. Fingers crossed. This is going to be a sweat, I think. Everybody else has a tight end. Ben C87 has 2. Bernie I know you're listening. And I know you only have Freiermuth at tight end. But just don't. Don't do it. Dalton Schultz looks good on your team, Bernie. Just remember that. As you should. Nolan, you are OMG. Look at me. Another great username. Mahomes, Saquon, Mahomes, Kelsey with Nuke. Oh. Wife's home. Wife made it home. You guys get to deal with the. I don't have a co-host that I can go on mute and let them talk while the dogs go crazy. The wife is home, if you're curious. Of course you were. The Costco pizza and soda this morning was had worn off, so we had to go to Wendy's. All right, Nolan. All right. Oh, Bijan, frisky. I like it. All right. I'm going to double dip these two tight ends. I know I could wait. Tucker Kraft's ADP is 65. I get it. Well, I guess I should look really quick. Should at least look. Christian Watson makes some sense. I just need tight ends so badly that I gotta do both Hawk and Tucker Kraft on this and just secure my NFC tight end and probably take a couple of cheap Bills flyers, right? More Mac Hollins apparently is going to be in my life. Jesus. Terrible. Yeah, this is working out all right. For the audio listeners, a quick recap. I got the 101, took Josh Allen, skipped over James Cook, but took Justin Jefferson and Amari Cooper. Amari, of course, stacking partner with Josh Allen. Then came back around, took Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones. So built out some more Minnesota and Green Bay. Started with Green Bay, then came back to Jaden Reed and Jordan Addison to take a little more of each of those teams, and then got both of the tight ends on Minnesota, TJ Hawkinson, and on Green Bay, Tucker Kraft. So we're clearly targeting Buffalo versus Green Bay or Minnesota in the Super Bowl, with both Green Bay and Minnesota making a run. We have them at 1% to play in the first round. I'm looking at the divisional matchup. Where's Green Bay? Green Bay is most likely, as of right now, what we have in the divisional round, 20% to play Detroit, 6% to play Minnesota, 7% to play Philly. And then in the conference championship, of course, Detroit and Philly there. But, we'll see how we'll see how the NFC playoffs shake out. But as it sits right now, looking okay from a seeding perspective and I don't want the longer I can wait for Green Bay and Minnesota to play would be ideal for this team. But I like it. I'm into this team. Let's see here. Okay, JSN, Bucky, Likely, Justice Hill, Noah Gray, Drake London, Christian Watson. I think I'm going to take a swing. I'm going to take a home run swing, I think, on this team. Gents, I know it's probably silly. I get it. But you guys have talked me into it. No, so it's a fair question. You said Versaire says Darnold is a pick. This is Bill's Super Bowl, period. I'm going to build all my Josh Allen teams as the Bills make the Super Bowl, and thus I'm using Josh Allen's score for 4 games. That's how I'm going to build them. Doesn't mean that's right. I'm just saying I want to get as much possible juice around. I'm into this juice idea. Okay. I'm going to say the word juice too much in playoff baseball. But nonetheless, I'm going to try to build in juice. I'm also a little bit I'm into in cumulative where I really do need those like mega high scores. I'm kind of a little more into the idea as you guys were talking it through with the Rams being like, the Rams could come back and beat Seattle, make the playoffs. Of course, Washington could fall apart, whatever. I was like, yeah, but I don't feel like I need to take that swing as much not yet on DraftKings and Underdog. Maybe that's foolish, but that's just the way I'm playing it right now. On Drafters, 11th round Puka Nacua, cumulative scoring where he could be like the stone cold, like absolute league winner. No, I'm playing Chiefs bye. The Bills are like super unlikely to get the bye. We have the Bills at 15% to get the bye. They just lost this week, so they need a miracle to not get the bye. Okay, Buffalo. Okay, I don't really like Ray Davis in cumulative. Do I take Cup and just do the Rams thing? I really should have planned this out better. I blame you, Berser. I'm just gonna do Cup. We made our bed. Let's lie in it. Allen to Amari all day long for 4 rounds is the stone cold nuts on the Bills side, and we get the obviously the Rams are not going well, and technically if the Rams do make the Super Bowl, it's fine. Sure, I won't have a tight end for the Super Bowl matchup. But if I got Puka, Cup, and Kyren Williams with Josh Allen and Amari Cooper, I'm down. I'm down for that. And I'm probably sitting pretty darn good if these kind of teams make a run. This is nowhere near a team for me personally that I would draft on Underdog or DraftKings right now. But on Drafters, I'm into this. Yep, Amari had a ton of targets last week. 14. Amari is a priority for me in these drafts. As it stands right now, just run it down real quick. Again, drafters cumulative. So just a little bit different where I mentioned I'm willing to swing on the Rams a tick more just right now while they're super cheap. And if they lose tomorrow, we'll take this $3 and we'll flush it down the toilet, and it is what it is. But they win tomorrow, keep a chip in a chair. I think I'm going to hammer some Rams on drafters. Maybe for the next 24 hours. Took Josh Allen 101, came back and took Justin Jefferson and Amari Cooper, came back again and took Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones. Then, yet again, more Green Bay, more Minnesota, Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison, same again, TJ Hawkinson and Tucker Kraft. And then we rounded it out with the big 3 from the Rams, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams, and Cooper Kupp. So I got a lot of really, really, really good fantasy assets, frankly, all across the board on both teams, but just built the Josh Allen Amari team and then a bunch of NFC stuff and hoping that the NFC shakes out in my way. This is not a typical structure that I don't think I would build, but also I think the Bills are a weird one where, especially on drafters, the power of Curtis Samuel and Matt Collins is like, it's not nothing, but it's not as powerful. Like Puka could do one game in the divisional round that Matt Collins still just like never makes up for, type of a situation. And then if he plays 2, right, Matt Collins is never going to beat Puka. So, yeah, this is a fun team. Shouts, Versaire. Thank you. We will be doing more of these playoff best ball drafts. Going to come back tomorrow and talk a little bit more of week 15, talk a little bit more playoff sweat. Going to pull up some projections. Got some ideas for looking at, some different ways to view how our teams look heading into the best ball playoffs. Like I said, some projections and DFS salaries and some of those different kinds of things, so we can get a little bit of a unique perspective into how our regular season best ball playoff teams, not playoff best ball playoff teams look. And we got some fun strategic content coming as well for playoff best ball here. Of course, this is the first one with some drafts. We're going to do some drafts every week. We're going to do some more strategic content. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. Make sure you go check out Legendary Sickos from Monday with myself and Pat. The final hour is a lot of like our team takes team analysis for playoff best ball. And like I said, we got a whole lot more coming. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you're in the Discord, we'll be live in the lab in about 45 minutes. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.